So Ken, you were out on your lawnmower thinking a little bit today,
Yes.
and reviewing some of our previous videos.
Listen to the episode from 2 weeks ago. And in considering what happens with a free quote, it occurred to me that to compare it to when people are shopping for a car. And there's a huge difference. First of all, people have a lot of time to think about what they want for a car. They're not usually not doing it in an emergency situation. They're thinking about it long in advance. They're saying, okay, this one's got 150,000 miles on it. We're going to need to think about that. What do I want for my next model? Do I want something sporty? Do I need an SUV? So they've considered all of that. Then they're thinking about what features do they want? Do they want mag wheels? Do they want an ultimate sound system? What about leather interior or heated seats or cooled seats? And so they really know what they want when the time comes for them to go get a car. And this differs immensely from when people are buying a new HVAC system. If it's an emergency, all they know is I need something, I need it right away. Better be something like what we had before, because they're not thinking about solving problems unless we bring it up and get them to slow it down. But I'm thinking about the first comfort consult that I had. And
so many years ago.
Yeah.
One of us has a memory.
COVID.
Right.
And the homeowner, actually, I guess maybe it was even during COVID. Because of COVID, he brought his mother to live with him. She was older still. But the remark that she made was, when her husband was living, she said, during our, time together, we may have bought at most 3 heating systems. And now this was a comfort consult, so rather than a free quote, but she said, I learned more in this 1-hour conversation with you than I knew from all of those. So we're trying to cram all of that information, ideally, as much as we can in a short period of time. And that's just not doable when we compare it to how people shop for a car. I mean, they'll go online and they'll check values. If they're looking for a used car, they'll see what the market has. And they know all kinds of information. They know nothing about their HVAC system, what it is, what it does, and what's available for them. So with a free quote, we're trying to help them understand, and as much as is reasonable. And some of the other things from the previous broadcast was that we don't want to make them uncomfortable by being too much of an expert. Oh, great. I've got 2 dogs in the room, so one doesn't like the other. But we're trying to help people increase their understanding of what the heating and cooling system can do for them, all in a short period of time. And we need to be aware, this is where the free quote is streamlining things. So we're trying to help them understand what's available, what the 6 features of a good HVAC system are, understand the very simple thing to us of static pressure, and help them to make a good decision in this period of time. And so, okay, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around from my recollection. one of the other things was having a conclusion to the free quote. Because
that's missing, isn't it?
yes, with most presentations, if you're doing a public presentation of anything, instead of saying, "Well, that's all I've got," bye everybody. And Nathan Hale didn't say, "Give me liberty or give me death. Thank you very much." He had a wrap up. That was a motivating conclusion. So that's what we need to look for with the free, well, with any sales presentation, but the free quote doesn't quite have that yet. Some kind of follow up, some kind of a, we're not saying, "Oh, can I get your signature now?" We're not doing that kind of a presentation. We're asking them, do you have enough information to make a decision? And have I presented the right information to you?
Yeah.
So
that's a really good point, especially with your analogy compared to people buying a car, of the difference in the amount of thought and time put into the decision making of, like you said, days, weeks, months in advance versus right now on the spot. They go from, I didn't even know there were multiple units you can even buy, to signing the paper. And something that I'm going to be trying to figure out how to implement well is to kind of extend out that I don't want to call it the free quote process, because you're not doing it's just not sales at that time, but like for my membership program, for any time I go out to somebody's house doing a maintenance visit, if you're doing it during the shoulder season and you're there because you don't have anything else going on at the time, you don't have any service calls lined up, well, that's a good time to start asking questions, like ask the 4 questions and start to get them to think about, hey, are there any problems within the house? And you can just start kind of, planting those seeds and going, well, just so you know, if you have problems X, Y, and Z, here's some videos. Here's the 5 functions video. Here's a static pressure video. And here, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and just get them thinking about that. And if you do that, say once a year, if they know every time, hey, when this guy comes out to do my maintenance, we end up talking about any problems within the house. And you can start kind of like laying out things to go, hey, if this is a problem, here's something that you can look at, trying to alleviate that. Don't do anything right now, just think about it. So then when it does come time, it's not all brand new information being hit at them. They're being hit. You're going into it with them going, hey, okay, I know my static pressure is high. So, probably a big airdrop. I already know I probably need to do that. And I know I've got all these problems. And can I look at those different equipment options again so I can see which one we might want to go with? So they're familiar with everything. So instead of buying something brand new that they have no understanding of right at that moment, it's closer to like what you said about buying the cars. They've already read the consumer reports. They know the different options. They know the different packages. They know, okay, I'm looking at the the Z07 package for my Corvette. I don't want just a basic Stingray, with the the LT1. I want the Z07, that type of thing. And so if they're already preconditioned to that, to where they can make a more fitting choice for what it is that they're wanting to do, it just makes that sales process, when the time comes, so much more flawless. Plus, if this is a pre-existing customer and you start this preconditioning, it's just anchoring them to you so much more, because then you'll start having the same thing like what Reedy had, where the people are like, yeah, it's more expensive, but it's worth it. Like all these other people, they're not asking anything. This guy, we've been talking about this for 3 years now. And so it's really going to kind of cement you to that customer at the cost of a membership or a service agreement fee or whatever. And you can do all that, in a time where you don't have to go on every service call and have a 30-minute discussion. You can do it on your off time and start that conversation long before, the sales process starts, and they're on guard going, is this guy just trying to sell me something by asking me these questions?
Yeah. Actually,
thank you for looking at that video, Ken. I think we
Oh,
need to
sure.
keep working through the order of the free quote and how that report it, needs to tie everything up as a follow-up so that you can lock in your responsibly avoiding responsibility for their decision. Because what's going to happen is, a lot of these free quotes, people are going to get oversized equipment on undersized ductwork, and a big part of this free quote, the idea behind it, was making sure that you have proven that you asked the for comfort quiz and tried to and the static pressure and tried to tie both of those things to the 6 functions and the smiley faces, and then also help them understand likely load range and why they want to lean towards the green. And then the fact that they didn't lean towards the green, even though that was your advice, will be part of the follow-up summary, so that later on, when they have issues because their equipment's oversized to their ductwork and now they got to do duct modifications, and then they're going down that sort of hellish path of oversized equipment now needs oversized ductwork and still short cycles even after you got the ductwork in, so the house is not uniform in temperature and it's uncomfortable. All of those things need to be owned by the homeowner that disregarded the process that we were trying to bring, which would have helped them make a better decision.
Yes.
So Ronnie, probably
Tanner's idea, Tanner's suggestion that if you can bring this up during a routine service visit, might even be something to adapt that a technician can present. It does, because we don't want to extend the service call and make them feel like they're being sold, but we want to help them use forethought, be aware of what their system is capable of, what a good system is capable of doing, instead of just assuming, oh, I need a new box.
Go ahead, Ronnie. Talk to him about that.
About new boxes?
No, about what your service department does.
Are you talking about in regards to the comfort questionnaire? I'm sorry.
Yeah, they in Service Titan, they have the comfort. They've
so if they sell either a blower door test or a free quote option in Service Titan, it triggers where they have to fill the form out before they can close out the job. So the 4 questionnaire pops up. They have to ask the 4 questions we ask. They have to put a score in there. They also have to record static pressure. They have to get a signature from the homeowner, whether it's a free quote or a comfort consult, meaning that they declined or accepted the blower door test, and they're accepting responsibility basically if the duct pressure is high, etc. So every single call other than a marketed lead.
And isn't it encouraged that the service techs ask the comfort quiz at every service call?
It is encouraged that we ask it at every call. Absolutely. So, and they can fill that form out if they don't turn it over. So that's, but what I have found is some of them will put NA for static pressure, and sometimes they'll use, if the blower motor's out, sure. If coil's frozen, sure. If it's completely blocked, they're supposed to still record it. But they're supposed to put a note, coil is impacted, whatever, you know what I mean? Or dirty air filter, etc. If they don't, then, it's not good for us or the technician. And they're kind of, we had a technician kind of draw like a generic signature on a couple of them, and the signature looked the same, and we caught it. And we've had conversations with them basically saying they're forging the homeowner signature, that we're going to terminate them if they do that again. So, so they're they're really cracking down on it because it's cost us some money in a few situations. Not to mention, it's not the right thing to do for the homeowner. If we're going to offer this stuff and, you know, stand by this, then we need to do what's right and honor what we're doing and be ethical. So